Guys, thank you so much for coming. We'll welcome Kicki down in the chairs that we was kind enough to get borrowed from Mass Productions, our friends from Mass Productions. Roger Dupé,
Yes.
Founder of Melyon brand.
Yes.
Kicki Norman, Editor-in-Chief of Daisy Beauty, and Johan Hellström, owner of Björn Axén. So nice to have you guys here, and as we used to say, like to say with Scandinavian mind, I think the most important issue when it comes to beauty is not about aesthetics. It's about many other issues that are at play here in terms of diversity, sustainability, and many other topics. And we're going to dive into that here. I want to start with you, Kicki. You have written a feature in our new issue, our new magazine. It's out now. Thank you so much for that. And I just wanted to start with, in terms of the Nordics, do you think we're better at sustainability in the Nordics than other countries?
I think we might think we are, and I think many people think they are a little better than others in most areas. I think we have a different approach to sustainability, and especially the concept of clean beauty. I think that we are we're from the Greta Thunberg country, of course, so we're well aware of what's going on. But if you want to make a change, you have to think globally.
So, in the story that you've written for us, you mentioned this term "clean beauty." Should we just unpack that a little bit? What does that mean for most people, or for the industry, or the consumer?
Well, it depends on what part of the world you're from. I think it's a concept that started in the US, where the rules and regulations for cosmetics are not as good as in the European community. And I think it was a well-meant idea that wanted to help consumers to buy things that are actually good and healthy for skin. But I mean, everything that's registered properly as cosmetics, especially in Europe, is safe and good for skin. So it's kind of misleading, I think.
Johan, we're gonna get back to that issue, but Johan, I wanna jump over to you. You are the owner of Björn Axén, but you're also the chairman of Frisörföretagarna.
Yes.
I'm not sure how you say that in English.
Well, the hairdressing industry, I would say.
Basically,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, all the salon owners and.
Yeah. So you are sort of responsible not only for your own brand, but for the whole industry in terms of hair care, which is huge. Let me just start with, what do you think needs to be done? What are some of the issues that has to happen in regards to sustainability?
I think there are quite a few things, but first of all, it's awareness. To give you an example, I want to back the band a little bit, and over 12 years ago, we developed a system together with Stena Recycling, because I thought that the chemicals being used in the salons, it can't be good to just throw it out in the wash bin, it can't. So we decided that nothing should leave any of our unities, our salons. Paper, plastic, perm lotions, chemicals, whatever, all the waste. And we've done that for 12 years. And then we didn't speak about it because I thought it's something that just feels good, that we're taking care of this. But now when I became the chairman, I realized that, wait a minute, what am I doing? I have a voice and I can actually make a change. So I think that, first of all, every single human being needs to think about how big rings on the water can I make? What kind of power am I in? So then I can see now that we have a major issue in the industry where I believe that the chemical waste that we use, it is dangerous and it shouldn't be able to be thrown out. And Naturvårdsverket, so the nature, what do you call that in English?
Board, something scientific.
Exactly.
But it's a private initiative, so it's not.
But they have now, it's a new law that you have to register all this chemical waste and make sure that you register how you take care of it. The problem is that all the beauty industry is labeled cosmetic products. Now, that is a problem, because cosmetic problems that you can put on your skin or your lips is very different from bleach or other very harsh chemical products. So we're working actually on making that change, because then it's by law you need to take care of it. So here we will see, we could actually make a quite great impact. But the problem comes in different layers, of course.
But are you saying it's harder to see the damage of these products because they're not obviously damaging to the
people don't really know yet, and people, we made a survey now among all the Swedish hairdressers. We know that the consumer 68% believe it's really important that you have a clear environmental policy, how to take care of all the products and so forth. Only 56% take care and recycle their products as they do in the kitchen. Paper, plastic, and glass.
Right.
No chemicals. So only 26% of the 56% they do it sometimes, otherwise they just throw it out as waste. So this is a huge problem. Now we have the facts. So now we can start to discuss with the government as well. They need to make it easier. All the communities around the country, they have their own rules. It's just like the corona pandemic. The government says that all the regions, you do it the way you want. It doesn't work. We need to have stronger leadership with strict rules. This is how we do it, and now figure it out. Yeah.
I love that. Sorry, Santa, very inspired politician here, Johan.
But I will vote for you.
Thank you.
It's that kind of year, right?
Me for president.
Kicki, let's go back. I mean, you all have been in the industry for a very long time and in various capacities, but I'm curious about from a consumer perspective, what is the level of awareness when it comes to these issues, and how has it changed the past years?
Well, I think that there is a brand called Veleda, that they are organic. They did a huge survey on what people really think, the skincare consumer actually, and they are really concerned about biodiversity, more so than natural or organic farming, which we thought was really important. But biodiversity apparently is really important to the Swedish consumer, at least.
And what does that mean?
It means that we want bees. We want trees and plants and animals and insects to not be extinct, basically. We want nature to keep running its course.
Johan, from your perspective, in terms of the consumer, even though you're now a bona fide politician, you also run your salons. You're still meeting clients. What's your take on this? How do you feel the awareness and the sort of, is there a request, a demand for a more sustainable approach to your industry?
Well, everyone says so, but they're not actually taking action.
Right.
So I believe, to take responsibility is not to say that we will in the future. It's about acting and doing it now. I'm quite sick and tired of everyone saying that 2027 we will be great and we will make a change. What are you doing right now? And this is unfortunately also something that it's complicated for the end consumer. Because the end consumer needs to have a lot of knowledge about ingredients. Is this good or not? They don't know. How could they? The only thing they can do is to recycle and try to make good choices. So here we need to go back to the product development companies to take responsibility, but we also need to have responsibility from the government with rules and also nudge and make it easier for the clients or the companies to do the right thing. Today it's expensive and difficult. It should be easy and cheap.
But then you're talking about recycling, basically.
This is what I do, because when it comes to ingredients and when it comes to knowing for a consumer to look at the ingredients list and say this is a good product or not, it's basically impossible.
Yeah, but we're seeing a lot of initiatives moving in that direction.
Absolutely.
I mean, the huge companies such as L'Oreal and Unilever, they are coming up with inventions and how to have a QR code on the package in order to see how all the ingredients work, how the product is done, manufactured, produced, how the villages that collect the ingredients are living and being treated, etc.
And this is a fantastic trend.
I think it's absolutely going in the right direction.
Yeah. That's good.
I want to stop you right there and talk about another aspect of from the consumer's perspective. I want to bring you in, Roger.
Yes.
you are fairly new to the beauty industry in one way. In another way, you've been in it for well over a decade, working as a model. You recently launched your own brand, which I congratulate you on, and you've done an amazing launch.
Thank you.
You have a different angle to this. Talk to me about the origins of Melyon.
Yeah, the origins of Melyon. I mean, I'm born and raised in Sweden. My parents come from Ghana and Togo in West Africa. And I think I connect those kind of three words with Melyon, but also to try to implement and do my voice speak and talk to the minority that actually is the majority in the world, and to create something new that the world in the beauty industry haven't seen before. And I think that angle is kind of interesting for the moment, and because of everything that's happening around the world, but also that the beauty industry has forgot a group of people that also should be like involved and seen in the industry.
And you're talking about specifically, this is about people of color,
exactly,
that haven't been able to maybe connect on a communication level in terms of what they're seeing in ad campaigns and so forth, but also in the actual product, right?
As well, yes, we can see that black skin and white skin are different. We can also see that it's more common problems in the darker skin tone than the white skin, and then I try to lift that problem up and also to solve that problem for people. I think everybody should have products on the market that talks to them and works for them as well.
Right. Kicki, I want to bring you in on this. Is this something we see in the industry generally, that we're moving more towards a sort of a diverse offering?
Yeah, I think so, definitely. I mean, Rihanna and Kendo launched a brand called Fenty Beauty. They started with 40 shades of foundation, and now it's the industry standard. You can't launch a foundation unless you have 40 shades.
Right.
And before, maybe you got, I don't know, 10 or 12. So I think the industry is moving in the right direction, but there's still a lot of work to be done. And I mean, right now in the US, the generation of people born in 2007 or later, it will be the first generation in the US where whites will be in a minority. So there really is a huge demand for the products you're creating.
Yeah.
And great.
I've just been so amazed. It's probably because you have such a dedicated following already. But talk to me about the launch of this. How has it been received in the Nordics and globally?
Wow, it's been really, really good and fantastic. Of course, like when you're working with a product for so long time, I mean, people just seen the results. But I've been having this in my head and been working with this Melyon project for over at least 2 years, I would say, and have the idea even before that. So of course, when you launch something, it's something that you put in 100%, but also it's a piece of you. So when you release it to the world, of course you are like afraid about criticals and afraid of how people gonna like react and think about your product, because in your world is the most amazing product in the world, but
it's your baby.
Exactly, but you don't know how it's gonna be perceived. But I'm really happy. It's been beyond my thoughts, definitely, and I think it was something unique, and I pressed some dots in people's mind and also in their chest, I think, and that's why I think it's been perceived really good.
I'm curious. Obviously, being new to the industry, going in as a new kind of entrepreneur. Are there things that have surprised you about the industry, or in any way, is it different than what you thought it was?
Yeah, it's really hard, I will say. I mean, I know. I know that things are hard. It's not that I like mistreated the industry. It's more in the sense to create like sustainability and affordable product in a price range that also that the consumer think it's good. That's the hard part, and to do also something unique, to do your own design, to think like in a 360 way, like, and to have product that are sustainability. That's really hard, and that's what Björn was talking about before. that, I mean, that is something that's supposed to be easy, not the other way around. You know what I mean? So it's really hard to tackle that, and also the price range. Like when you want to create something that is really good, sustainability, good for the body, and the ingredients and so on. I mean, then the price range going up really fast. So it's not an easy way, but I think it's good to speak about that topic, so the consumer also understand when you do, for instance, a bottle in glass. It's not an easy thing, definitely not. So,
Johan, you've been in the industry, let's say a few more years. What would your advice be to Roger going into this? I mean, tackling all these subjects, both in terms of dealing with the consumer, but all these issues of sustainability and so forth.
You know, that is something you can talk about for such a long time. But I think reach out and ask and get help.
Yeah.
I think what you're doing is amazing. But you need so much knowledge today. You know, that you have to nerd in on ingredients levels and have knowledge that you didn't have to have before when you create your own product. So I believe, you know, reach out and ask for help when you need it, and keep on doing it.
Yeah.
Right.
You're a fighter.
Yeah, of course.
You make this happen.
Yeah.
We're going to see if we have some questions from the audience, but meanwhile, I wanted to ask you, Kicki, as an editor covering the world of beauty. I'm an editor as well. I'm much more new to this world than you are. What are some of the most important topics that you cover?
I think ingredients, as you were talking about, is super important. I think sustainability, as you're an expert of, is very important. I think farming, packaging, stuff like that are super important. But I think, cosmetics is innovation, and there are new things every day. When I started writing about cosmetics, I thought, I'm going to learn all about cosmetics, and then I'm going to move on and become a writer of some other subject.
Right.
And that's 15 years ago, and I'm still learning. There's so much happening.
Yeah.
So, and the consumer is getting more educated. So people like you and I have to get more educated. It's just so interesting. It's a very exciting times now.
It is.
Do you have any recommendations on how to, as you said, 15 years on, there's still so much to learn, and I can certainly feel that myself. Sometimes it's kind of daunting. It's hard to know where to start. What are some of the key things you have to look for, as a consumer when you're, looking at the bottle or picking out a brand? Or do you have some tips and tricks?
I think the number one thing to do is read reviews online. Just Google and try to figure out as much as possible, and then you have to try for yourself. Because even if someone says this is really good, whether that's a marketing department or another consumer who wrote a review online, you have to try it before you know if it works for you. Because skincare and hair care, and it's so individual. Just figure out what you like and keep going for that.
Johan, from your perspective, running a brand, there's so much communication involved, and you want your consumer to be more aware, so to speak. How do you go about it? What are some of the most important things to do in terms of communicating things like ingredients and what they mean and how they affect your skin or hair or so forth?
We are working on that now, because we have so much things to say that you sometimes get blinded by that and you don't understand. But I think, first of all, as I spoke about before, I will get back to the communication, but I think it is so important for me to know what position I'm in. If I understand and I have knowledge, I can make a change when it comes to whom I'm buying ingredients from. And I can say no to ingredients that I know today is not good. Unfortunately, we have so much greenwashing that is incredible. And this is the hardest part for the end consumer. So I believe that this is a very important thing. I can change the factories if they don't do as I please, because we produce so much. So we as a company can take that responsibility. And I think for consumers, it is very difficult to read on an inky list and see, is this good or not? So I think they have to, in the future, find companies that they can trust and that they believe in, And this is what's going to make a change. The more companies that demand good ingredients and that actually stop to buy the bad stuff, only the money will make the change for real. And legislation. But we know that takes a very long time. It's very complicated. But we need to get, someone with a little bit more power to say, stop, this is now forbidden, And we have a few of those ingredients coming up soon. And then a lot of problems, hair care companies, they will have a huge problem. Because these are ingredients that are in most hair care products. And they're not good for the environment.
Right.
And it's super tricky to know.
And it's the same thing with consumers. They vote with their money. So if they don't buy something, then the companies will stop making it. So,
exactly. So this is so important. We need to be pushed from different angles. And everyone have to take their responsibility to push this change to go faster.
How do you go about, one of the things I find fascinating, it's the same with fashion, and we're going to talk about that in the next segment as well, coming up soon, but all these industries that are essentially about identity and aesthetics and, making you feel good and you want to treat yourself and, you're basically dealing with moments in people's lives when they want to feel the best, right? So not necessarily open to talking about, sustainability, global warming, the end of the world type stuff. How do you tackle that in terms of communication? Coming back to that, you all do it from different perspective. I actually want to ask all of you this: how do you tackle this balance between delivering something that is essentially a positive, wonderful experience that is supposed to be about your identity, but also infusing it with knowledge and responsibility and awareness? Who wants to start?
I can start. I think you need to tackle it in a nice and interesting way. We people love storytelling. You can adapt your content through a storytelling as well. That's kind of interesting, like visually, but also like that you got so much information that is really good and you can adapt quite quick. If we're gonna start to talk about this topic for like 2 or 3 hours, of course it's gonna be boring for the consumer. But if you can pack it and do it in an interesting way, then I think you can reach the consumer in a different angle that I feel like it's interesting, but also like we started to learn something and it's also really cool.
Yeah, we're living in a digital world. All brands can have a social media presence and teach their consumers about what they are about, besides having a good product. Going back to the survey I mentioned earlier, the number one, the most important thing when consumers are buying products is actually, are they good? Sustainability is quite a bit down the list. They want to feel good, texture should be good, the fragrance should be good, and then we have sustainability. So. But brand these days in the digital times, they are their values. So you have to communicate them clearly, and you can do that without spending too much money actually these days.
Johan, do you agree?
Yes, I do. And we're sitting now discussing this special topic, how to communicate it in a more clear and better way.
Right.
So our brand promise is that we have to be kind to nature, kind to humans, but we cannot give up on function. And this is exactly the most important thing. And I think when we now can see the development in ingredients, in packaging, we're not 100%, we're not there yet, but we're getting there faster. When we can make the function amazing and still, be environmentally friendly, then we have a product that will sell. So, trying to say as little as possible and create curiosity. And then you can read more. I think that's what we're trying to do.
Exciting stuff. We're going to wrap it up soon, so that's a hint for the next panel. This platform we created will live on, and there will be many more moments where we can discuss these topics. I find it so fascinating, and I'm happy that we were able to talk about this issue of beauty in our first inauguration of our conference. I wanted to ask if you have when you talk to the consumer or the people out there, what can they do as a concrete step to make themselves more aware or change their behavior in a way that will move forward in a positive way? Let's be super concrete here. What would you recommend?
Oh, Jesus. I think it will happen eventually because companies and brands will make information more available to consumers. But right now it's very difficult. You said it too. I mean, as an end consumer, how are you going to know if it's a properly sustainable company or greenwashing? It's almost impossible.
Yeah. I believe for the industry, I would love the end consumer to do two things.
Right. Good.
The first thing is to ask their hairdresser, how do you take care of your chemical waste? And here you need to be open also to say either you do it or you don't. If you don't, well then change the lawn. Here we have the money, we'll talk. You will make a change. So the consumer has great power here. And the other thing is we were, I believe, one of the first companies in the world that offers pant, how do you say that in English? Money back when you recycle your product with a startup Panta På, now called Bauer. Right. So you actually get 10% left. This is a nudge in the right directions. I believe consumers could do that. Recycle the way you do in the kitchen in your bathroom.
Oh, then I want to add another one. Buy products without cellophane. Cellophane packaging is the worst. I mean, plastic waste, etc., glass bottles, they can be good or they can be not so good, but cellophane is undoubtedly just useless and bad for the environment. Stay away from that.
Okay, good, concrete. Roger, do you have a...
I think it's... of course, we all need to learn. We all need to be better. But I think the consumer has the power, like they said, and I think they should push on that and not be afraid to change brand if they don't reach the criteria that is eco-friendly, and also to put a good point out there and stand for something that is good. I think that's the major.
And don't be afraid to ask questions.
No, exactly.
I think
ask questions and demand.
That's the ultimate closing words here. Ask questions. That's certainly something I will adhere to and try to do here. Thank you so much for coming. I feel like we can talk forever, but that's a good thing. That means the conversation will continue. Thank you so much for coming, and hope to see you soon.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.